Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time. Thank you for coming back. Guys, I asked what we were going to talk about, and what I heard is everything just shifted heavily in your favor. It shifted heavily in your favor. Whatever is happening, it's something that's probably, again, challenged you. That's a consistent feel and message that I've been receiving for all of us, that we've been very seriously challenged, very seriously kind of like encouraged to go beyond our comfort zone. For many of us, we've been made to feel very uncomfortable in the process that we're in. Not necessarily because we're bad or anything like that. More that we can't stay in the same space. We can't allow ourselves to remain stagnant. And so soul has been very much pushing us towards a shift, towards an adjustment of the way we exist, the way we allow ourselves to see ourselves, the moves that we make, the way we move through our processes. All of that has been leading to a major shift. And I would say that's a very good thing. I would say that's a very good thing. But just because it's a good thing doesn't mean it's something that's easy for us to understand. So maybe whatever comes out in this chat will help us to better understand, right? Oh, speaking of, um, give me 1 second. I completely forgot to add this. It's here somewhere. Here. I'm going to be going live later today in our sanctuary. If you're not already part of our sanctuary, this is the perfect opportunity for you to join that. It's not a membership. It is a recurring contribution to be a participant, a congregation member in our church. All of the funds that are collected from the recurring contribution are considered donations in the United States of America. You're giving to a church. Yeah, it doesn't go to me, it goes to the church, and it's processed by the church processors. So this is a very exclusive space where we talk about a lot of the things that are very sensitive, things that um, help our congregation to really process the events that are unfolding across the world and in our personal lives. It's a very beautiful space. If you'd like to partake in that, I'm going to be live in our congregation space having a chat with our folks around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. So let's get started. All right. Okay. Damn. Cycle has completely ended. A cycle has completely ended. Ooh, I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills. Ooh, baby boo. This is all really good stuff. Really, really good messages. So you've done the work, you've put a lot of effort. You have turned yourself into an alchemist, someone who can change and shift the trajectory of your journey at will. Okay, the things that you've been going through have been teaching you about the gravity of your potentiality, the gravity of your abilities, your power, your authority over yourself and your life. Yes, for many of us, there's probably been people who have forced upon you their participation in your journey. You know, there's shitty people in the world. The world's not full of only shitty people. But there are shitty people in this world, and those people have served their purpose in your life. If you have been very much bothered by a really shitty person, their time in your life is coming to a close, if not already completely closed. Ooh, I'm just saying, and they're gonna have a lot to say about, um, you not allowing access anymore. They're gonna have a lot to say. They're gonna be so upset. They're gonna have their little tantrum over it. They're gonna try and make you miserable. And to that, I say, let me let me hold this properly. Okay. Yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Who cares? Literally, wow, wow, wow. Okay. Let them wow, wow, wow on their own. You are needing to focus on what the new thing is that you're bringing forward. Whoever that shitty person is, they're being banished. And no, you don't need to feel bad if something bad happens to them. Like, are you hoping for something bad to happen? No? Okay. Why are you feeling like you have to take responsibility for whatever hardship they go through with your absence? Who cares? Who cares? It is not your job to heal people who have zero interest in healing. It is not your job to be the asshole whisperer. Stop volunteering to be that. Stop. Stop. Focus on you. Focus on receiving. Today at the gym, I had a lovely experience. It was lovely. And it's kind of helping me to shift some of my perception on certain things. Um, I had arrived on today's leg day, and so I was going to go. I went straight to the leg press machine. There were weights on there, but there was no one around, and there was no one's personal belongings at the machine. And I'm kind of just, I set my bag down, and I'm looking around. I don't see anyone coming, so I'm kind of just standing there. I'm not on the machine yet. I'm just standing there, kind of going through my phone to see which version of leg day I'm going to do today, and also to give someone an opportunity to see me standing there so that they can come up and let me know, like, hey, I'm still using this machine, at which point I totally would have been like, well, that's perfectly fine, I'll go and use something else until you finish, no problem. And and then this older gentleman comes up, and I was like, I'm sorry, were you using this machine? And he goes, no, 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 it's okay, it's okay. I've kind of just been bouncing around from machine to machine, and I just came over to see if you needed me to help you take the weights off. He had 245 plates on each side. And I was like, "Oh no. Are you sure? Are you sure that you're done? I could totally wait, It's no problem. I just didn't see anyone here. I could totally wait." And he tells me, "No, no, 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 no. No, it's okay. It's okay. Do you want me to take the weights off?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually going to put more weights on." And he goes, "Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good to go." The he said to me, he said he's gonna work on his legs because he got some soccer legs, and his words, not mine. The white girls love his soccer legs. I was like, "What? I'm sorry, sir. What?" I'm over there giggling. And he goes, I know, I know, I know. It's like, okay, I could totally use a different machine. He goes, no, you're good. You're good. Just have a seat, do your thing. And I was like, okay. And that was a lovely thing. I know, right, Janet? What? That came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. I was just like, oh, what? Yes. And so it's this thing of, there's so much goodness still in this world. Rather than seeing it as, when this older gentleman walked up, and being in a negative headspace, and like, "Hey, you left the machine," right? No, I totally already had decided, I'm gonna stand there for like a minute or so and wait for someone to come up and be like, "Hey, I'm still using this machine." At which point, again, I would say like, "Oh, okay, no worries. I'll go do something else while you finish." And because I was open to everything playing out in whatever way it needed to, and that I would not be offended, I would not be defensive, none of the negative things that I had been feeling over the last few weeks, it turned out so beautiful. It did. It turned out so beautiful, and he was so gracious, and as a matter of fact, he walked past me before I started, and, I was like, "Are you sure you're done? Because it's totally okay with me, like, I have no problem doing something else, have a long set." And he said, "Yeah, no, 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 you're good." He said he was done, and I finished on that machine. I went to the Smith machine afterwards, and when I was done and I was set up on a completely different machine, this older gentleman goes back to the leg press. He wasn't done, and I was like, he could have just told me, there's no problem. I could have done something else. And then I caught myself. No, I was given what I deserve in that moment, consideration. And I don't need to convince myself that I should have insisted, that I refuse the very compassionate consideration that a complete stranger was giving me. Everything is shifting in your favor. And if you're so busy trying to cling to the old way, the old thoughts, the old patterns, the defensiveness, the negativity, the perception that, everyone is just taking advantage of you, everyone this, everyone that, all of these negative things, you're going to miss out on the ways in which life is showing you that everything is shifting into your favor. That wasn't a big deal. It's just a machine. Literally is not a big deal. The main thing is, in the last few weeks, I've lost sight of the fact that a lot of the things that have been upsetting me so deeply is really not a big deal, right? And those little things that have been such a big deal to me and have been really seriously upsetting me over the last few weeks, especially, had been seen as a big deal because something big did happen. And in my avoidance, no, girl. In my avoidance of processing that big deal, everything that was not a big deal suddenly became a big deal. And sometimes we do that unknowingly because when there is an entire mountain of little things that we're turning into a big deal, we've justified our preoccupation with other things so that we don't have to address the actual root of what's blocking you from moving forward. Right? Mm. Mm. There's an internal conversation coming up that an internal conversation coming up that I'm kind of being nudged to share, and I'm just not wanting to. I'm not wanting to. There's a notification. It says, celebrate your grad's big milestone with a gift from the heart. That's interesting. So you're graduating from a cycle. You're graduating from a cycle and you're being gifted with something from the heart. So long as you cling to the presence that has been very much agitating you, very much creating discomfort, even disgust, you're going to fail to realize that that presence, that experience has been banished. It's banished. It's banished. You don't have to deal with it anymore. You can choose to if you want. You can continue to wait for the other shoe to drop. And in doing that and choosing that for yourself, everything that's just shifted heavily in your favor will be ignored. It will be forsaken. You won't receive the benefits of how this shift is being stacked in your favor. These are all decisions that you need to make because the most amazing things can happen for you. But so long as you're in a negative headspace, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to really receive much of anything. You're not going to be able to move forward. You're not going to be able to heal. You're not going to be able to do all the important things that are needing to be done. I hope that you make a decision that gives yourself permission to receive the rest of what this message is going to be. All you have to do is take responsibility. It's not about blame. Taking responsibility is about recognizing the ways in which your perception very much is the paint that is used to color the artwork that is your life. Would you like to use drab colors? Would you like to use a very monotone type palette where it's just different shades of the same drab muted color? Or would you like vivid colors? Would you like something more muted, something more cool, something more warm? I mean, how are you wanting to paint the artwork that is your life? That's a decision only you can make because you are the artist. You are the artist. You are the one actively creating and designing the experience that others will have as they witness the artwork that you are. Through all of this shifting, you have a guardian. Oh, you have a familiar. Mm. Um, mm, mm. Mm. Um, mm. Yeah, I didn't realize. I didn't realize. Um, I'm just contemplating on something. So that thing that I didn't want to share earlier, this card brings it front and center. It brings it front and center because a lot of the things that I've been struggling through as of late, um, It connects with this card. So it's this card, familiar, guardian. Um, I had a familiar who was tasked to be the guardian of my children. And for 16 years of both our lives, that is exactly what she did. And she had my full trust and confidence in her love for our family. And recently, she died. She's gone. She's gone in her physical form, but she hasn't left. And it's a struggle for someone like me to quantify, to process, because every morning I still look for her. But she's not in her place. And even though she's not in her place, I feel her all over the house. I think sometimes we take ownership of things that were never for us to own. It was never within the realm of my authority to dictate how long her lifetime would be. And I've been being shown for quite some time now that she was to be with me for as long as life was destined to be destabilized. And now I'm entering into a space of internalized stability, that her physical presence is no longer needed. And so her time with me is done. I'll come to terms with it. Eventually, I'll come to terms with it. My brother was the one that gave her to me when she was just, I don't know how many weeks old. He gave her to me with a singular intention. That she would protect my children at any cost. That is her breed. That is what her breed is bred for. And he waited to reach out to me because he knew how attached I am to her. And he reached out recently and he stated the most obvious. She was never a pet. She did the work she was brought into our lives to do. She did a good job. She did a very good job. And it's now time to let her rest. We can't cling to the negative feelings because of this unrealistic expectation that we've developed. My expectation was unrealistic. I wanted her to hold on until she turned 20. Her breed only lives an average of 12 years. She was 16. It's time to shift this awareness, accept the messages from soul that's letting you know not only is it okay that this shift is part of a greater, broader plan that was created, thought of by divinity itself, and to simply accept whatever it is. And should my family need another guardian, another one will find its way to us. I don't buy any of my pets. They find a way into my life. I don't buy any of them. They enter my life when their presence is needed. And they stay for as long as we have agreed to on a soul level. The same applies for people. That spiritual fact applies also for people and their time in your life. Whether their time is ended because there's no longer compatibility or resonance, or if that time together is ended because of the ultimate parting of ways. All of that is agreed to on a soul level before we ever knew each other existed. That doesn't mean that the absence and the shift is not going to hurt tremendously for those who wanted to hold on, right? And I like to think the way in which you struggle to accept the depth at which you hurt is directly indicative of how deeply you loved and gave of yourself, and hopefully also how deeply you received that other person. Sometimes you just got to look at the ways that the way everything played out was the most compassionate outcome. We were going to put her down on a Monday. The deal was, after I go to the gym, I'm going to call the vet to come to the house. And by the time we parked our vehicle inside our garage, I was frantic and in tears. And I told my husband, I just need 48 hours to know that I did everything I could. I just need 48 hours. I need 2 days. I need 2 days, and if I can't turn everything around, then I'll let go. And for those 2 days, it seemed like she turned around and she was trying to stand on her own again. And she perked up. And towards the end of the second day, I knew. She just gave me that. She held on and she hid her pain so she could gift me with the comfort of knowing I literally did everything I could. I did everything I could. Things don't always work out in the way that you want, but they always work out in the way that's most compassionate for you. Like most compassionate for you. Understand how loved you are and how every need that you don't even know exists is provided for. It's provided for. And it might not show up in the way that you want it to. It might not unfold in the way that you want. But you have to understand sometimes what you want is not what is fair, is not what is necessary. No matter what, everything is going to be fine. So allow yourself to grieve the loss of whatever expectation you were really deeply hoping for. A better circumstance, a better outcome. Something that is more aligned with what is necessary, what is in your true best interest. It's already being created and formed. It's being manifested specifically for you. Everything is shifting heavily in your favor. That doesn't mean the shift is not going to be uncomfortable or downright heartbreaking. It means you have to remind yourself in the moments that you forget that just because you don't understand, it doesn't mean it's not in your best interest. You are being initiated into something very, very profound, something that's creating changes and shifts within you that are making you much more capable of handling whatever this next part of your journey is. Okay? You have to be careful with the ways in which you allow your negative emotions, which are normal and natural byproducts of difficulties that you experience. You have to be careful of how those negative emotions can shift what is happening for you into a detrimental space. It's okay to feel what you feel. It is not okay to use what you feel to become self destructive. It is not okay to use the normal, natural, negative feelings that you experience to be a justification for pushing away the very things that life and soul are trying to gift to you. Things are going to intensify. They're going to intensify in a way that is hard for you to ignore. And the degree of intensification is going to be contingent on the depth of avoidance and blinding that you do to yourself. If you're going to blind yourself to what you're being asked to receive by soul, it's going to intensify to the degree that even your blinders cannot keep that light out. You cannot contain the gifts you are being given by pretending they are not gifts. Soul is not going to allow you to reject or forego whatever this is at this point. Everything just shifted heavily in your favor. Okay. I'm going to say something on a personal level. If I've removed you from my life, that's for a reason. So when you're removed, please remain removed. I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm very clear in my communication. If I have removed you from my life, it's not a case of wait some time and then try and come back. Be respectful of the decisions I make for myself and my peace. So, homecoming, it's time for you to come back home to yourself. It's time for you to understand that some of your expectations, some of your desires, some of the decisions that you've made have been in your best interest. And it's okay. It's okay for you to be who you are and have your needs. It's okay for you to accept that some people won't understand those needs, but your needs are still valid. Your process is still valid, and the decisions you make for yourself is okay. Not everyone will understand, not everyone will agree. And it's okay. You still have the authority, the right, and the obligation to yourself to make decisions for yourself. You are strong. You are very, very, very strong, right? You're entering into a new territory. Okay, so it's this image of coming out of the water. Maybe you're a water sign. Maybe you're comfortable being in a fluid space. That's your space of comfort. And you're coming out of that water onto, I'm assuming, dry land. You are much like a tiger who is at home in both elements. People think that, oh, cats don't like water. I've seen lots of videos of tigers swimming and playing in water. Lots of videos. Lots and lots and lots of content documenting the ease that tigers have in both elements. You can be very well versed in more than one thing. You don't have to remain in one space. You can do multiple things and be good at multiple things. You don't just have to be one thing. Part of what's needing to shift in order to allow for this massive shift in your favor is to accept that you are so perfectly designed for everything you are going to live through, everything you have already lived through. These events and experiences that you don't even know is headed towards you, you're already designed to be able to handle that. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you're already designed to be able to handle that. Something amazing is about to happen. A new chapter is being written. It's being written by you and your perception that's being shifted by whatever we're talking about right now. Something in you is being shifted. All you have to do is let go of the very things you've been clinging on to because of your fear of what comes next. You don't have to know. You don't have to be intuitively prepared to accept what is for you. You know, when it's your birthday and someone surprises you with a gift, do you have to know what the gift is in order to be able to receive the gift? Can't you just be surprised? Can't you just accept that, hey, someone wants to celebrate you? Someone got you something. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. Just let yourself receive the gift. You don't have to know in advance. You don't have to be told everything and everything be put on pause until you're good and ready to allow it. That's just not how life works. And if that's what you're wanting and needing and expecting from life, you're going to be very disappointed. Not disappointed because life sucks and you never have anything good happen for you. Disappointed because your perception sucks and you never allow anything good to reach you. And I say that as someone who used to do that quite a bit. Quite a bit. I don't do that anymore. Maybe once in a great while, I find myself starting the early stages of that. And as soon as I become aware that that's what I'm doing, like, nope, knock it off. No, we're not doing that again. Mm-mm. No, absolutely not. Nope. I'm not going to agree to do that to myself. I'm not going to agree to forego the experiences, the goodness, the blessings, the generosity, care, and compassion that other people give me. Like, I'm not willing to anymore. And yes, it might be difficult for me to accept gifts from others. It might be difficult for me to accept kind words. Um, but I'm working on it. I'm not in denial when I do those things again. I'm not in denial when I start with a mindset. So I've been taking a different supplement the past, I want to say it's been a week. Um, I don't know. It's been really beneficial for some reason. Tastes like caca, but I don't know. It's something about it is very much rejuvenating my physicality. And my husband's been taking it too, and he's looking mighty handsome. He always looks handsome, but he's reverting in his appearance. He is looking like he's aging in reverse. And it's this thing of we're taking the same supplement, and I'm noticing he's reversing his aging process. And I've had quite a few people commenting, which is weird to me. They're commenting how, like, there's no way. Just my thought. I've had a lot of comments as of the past week. People are thinking I'm like in my 20s, like, y'all are full of shit. No, I don't look like I'm 20. Probably because I know what I look like when I was 20 and it's not this. So it's like I know that the supplementation is very beneficial, and it is in fact reversing some of that aging. We're not taking it for anti-aging properties. That was not expected. That was definitely not expected. But why is it so hard to just receive the compliment? Why is it so hard? Because we don't want to accept the positivity that people see in us. And no, it's not a thing of like, I want to look like I'm in my 20s. I just want to be the healthiest version of myself possible. So then why does it weird me out when people say that? That's true. Michael says, because you were quite possibly at your most unhealthy in your 20s. That's very true. That's very true. If you allow yourself to recognize the ways in which you're blocking the confirmation that you are looking for in order to help you feel more confident in the very process that you're in, you can then begin to realize, hey, this is like a low key way of sabotaging my own process, right? Because why would you not allow yourself to receive the very confirmation you're looking for? Now, I'm not looking for people to tell me that I look like I'm aging in reverse. I'm not at all, actually. But I'm receiving confirmation that whatever I'm doing, whatever shifts that I've made, it is rejuvenating my life essence. I would say that's a shift in my favor. I would say that's a shift in my favor. Absolutely. I'm being rejuvenated. My body is being rejuvenated. It is responding positively to whatever it is I'm doing. It's positively responding. How many times have you in your process gone and been like, oh, it's not working, despite other people seeing a difference in you? And I'm not just talking about aesthetics. I'm not just talking about anti aging things. I'm talking about the effort that you've placed in increasing your health, increasing your financial stability. How many times? Right? Ooh, dark warrior. My guess is that down deep, we don't feel we deserve it. If I look at my process, basically through my entire 30s, I looked like I was about 18-ish, maybe 17. A lot of people thought I was really young. Um, and I was really dialed in to the appropriate diet. I'm not talking about caloric restriction. I'm talking about um, not allowing myself to consume any foods that my body is intolerant of, and properly supplementing, getting the appropriate amount of rest, and all of that, right? And it's this thing of part of me feels like I can't get back to that space of just being completely immersed in that degree of peace, because that degree of peace for me personally required me to be inaccessible to anyone and everyone. I literally lived on the road. If I did not allow, you could not access. There was no phone number, there was no address, there was no physical location, there was nothing. Nothing. And at that time, I felt very free. But was I free, or was I simply running? And so maybe that's part of the process, right? Recognizing the shifts in your perception. I thought I was free. It felt very liberating. And in some ways, I was. I was free to finally be myself, simply because I had cut off access for everyone that knew me before Emmy. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Emmy didn't exist until 2016. Wrap your mind around that. I was born in the 70s. Hot diggity damn. Emmy did not exist until 2016. And you know the process that it took for Emmy to come to life? I had to become so lost that I lost myself and my own identity. You could say my name in a grocery store or somewhere in the public, and I would not turn around. I would not recognize, it would not register that you were calling me. And I no longer wrote my name out in correspondences. I simply put an M. So I don't know what I don't know what I was becoming. Sometimes you got to lose so much of yourself, so much of what you consider is you, in order to receive the truth of who you actually are. Sometimes that's what needs to happen. And sometimes what needs to happen is what will happen with or without your consent, approval, agreement, prior knowledge, or any of that. That none of that was pre-planned. None of that. There was no plan of, okay, I'm going to rebrand myself, and then I'm going to start an online business. I'm going to do live broadcasts. There was no plan for anything. None. None. Michael says to, it's embarrassing. Okay, hold on. I will. All right. um, so one time someone asked me, like, why do you sign your letters with M? Because M is me. That's what he said. Because M is me. And then I got irritated with the person, like, why are you even asking? It's none of your business. um, and then so I dumped my Facebook account, my private account, and then I started a new Facebook account that's not associated with that previous one that relatives and everyone um, could find me on. And I was like, well, what am I going to name myself? I can't put M is me. That's like dumb. And then so I was like, oh, Emmy, Emmy. And then I was like, oh, what does that name mean? So I Googled it, meaning of Emmy. And the first link that came up was from Urban Dictionary. And it says, it says, the most beautiful girl you could ever hope to meet. She's caring, unique, and funny. She doesn't always believe in herself and needs a little help sometimes. And so I was like, oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. And then the other meaning is the most amazing girl one has ever met. One who is extremely smart, unique, creative, athletic, and beautiful in her own nonconformist ways. One who will care no matter what. And I was like, oh, these are hilarious. It says like you're absolutely perfect and people fall in love with you and they're fun. And I was just like, this is so fucking full of shit. Let's pick it. Because the account that I created was a troll account. It was supposed to be a troll account. Not even joking. It was a troll account. And I was like, what will my last name be? And I was clicking around on Urban Dictionary and then I found the name. I mean, Nicolina. And the funny thing is, everyone in my life now only knows me as Emmy. It wasn't a character that was created. It wasn't a rebranding. There's power in what you name things. And whatever name you choose, whoever receives that name, they are infused with a meaning behind it. So that's what I became. Not by intention, not by plan. But because that was what I was guided to rename myself. Was never a troll account after that. It was the most real and raw expression of me and my truth. And it continues through to this day. You can see the progression and the milestones that I hit. Whatever year it happens, you can see it. My entire unfoldment is documented online. The entire journey from 2016 till now is documented online. You can see me shift and change as a person. Michael says, look up the last name. I don't remember the name of what it means. Okay. Nicolina is a very pretty name, which is for a very pretty girl. Not many people are named Nicolina but the people that are is very special. Once you meet one, you will be grateful. This is so freaking cheesy. They're nice, hot, sexy, pretty, ambitious, and admirable. Some people say that they're cocky, but it's just they're really confident in themselves. If you say they're pretty, they will deny it, even though they are very, very pretty. It's just so stupid. If you say they're pretty, they'll deny it. Okay, dating a Nicolina is the blast of your life since when they are in a relationship with you, they're trustworthy and will admire you. Just and then I think this was no, 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 no. Hold on. Let's see. That's so stupid. Uh, and then it says she always sees the good things in people she meets. She always tells the truth. She shares her food with you, and she'll always be there for you, even in bad times. She has a good heart and hates to hurt people. She's the perfect friend. It's just obnoxious. But it's true. I'll share my food with you. I'd like to think I make a good friend, you know? Yeah, even my voice and everything, it's different. It's very, very, very different. It's literally like a different person was born in 2016 and she's grown and changed and shifted and become a full-fledged woman in front of everybody. And the way you go and do that is by allowing balance to occur. The parts of you that you find very embarrassing. I mean, are you embarrassed because it's hard for you to accept the gravity of you? Or are you embarrassed because you're afraid people will see who you really are? Or are you embarrassed because someone who's intimidated by you said or did something to cause you to feel the need to be embarrassed about who you are? I mean, what is it? What is it? Watching your old videos to now, I noticed the significant difference in your voice. I've always wanted to ask you about that. When I first was publicly visible, um, my whole life I've understood the gravity of the strength with which I can speak and communicate. I've had my teachers telling me this my entire school time from elementary all the way through. Um, and when people are exposed to the degree of my awareness, and I guess you could say my intelligence, I notice, I guess the most accurate way to describe it is they become intimidated and they try and side skirt me and avoid me. And I'm aware I make people feel uncomfortable when I am in my most authentic state. So, pretty much my entire life, um, I've modified myself to be more tolerable, to be less intimidating. Um, I'm an ambivert because a part of me is highly introverted. But if I see your discomfort in my presence, I will flip that switch and become extremely extroverted to make you very comfortable so that you don't feel intimidated by me. You don't feel as though I'm going to do something that um, you can't manage through. And one of the things that I learned to do right from the start was to raise the pitch of my voice. If I allow my voice to go to a higher pitch, um, because of the way I look, people have a tendency to see me as less intimidating and being very friendly and very smiley all the time and speaking in a much higher register. Um, it really disarmed people and they felt very comfortable around me. But that also ended up leading to me developing thyroid issues. Not just because I was speaking in that voice, but the ramifications, the energetic, emotional, intellectual ramifications of modifying myself to that degree. So, yeah, this is the actual sound of my voice. This is where my voice registers naturally. But in older videos, you'll see that I spoke like this because it made people feel much more comfortable when I speak this way and in a half whisper. and never use words that the average person can understand. Because when I speak, even in a modified vernacular, um, people have a tendency to feel as though, oh, she's one of those overachievers, which I am. I fucking am. I'm an overachiever. But people never gave me permission to be that. They expected that, but didn't give permission to be that. Because when they see me operating at the level that I can operate, it then becomes clear that you can't keep up. People don't like that. So, what I've learned to do is let everyone else be in control. And when everything gets real fucked up, right at the end, I swoop in and I fix everything very easily, very quickly, because I'm efficient. And when it's done in that way, people don't have the opportunity to become intimidated. Instead, they feel like, oh, thank God you were able to fix that in time. Man, we would have been so screwed. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah. So it's a thing of realizing who you are, what you're capable of, and allowing yourself to be just that, a very powerful, very capable person, and understanding that it is not your job, it is not within the realm of your authority to force someone to no longer exist in that compete, compare program. Because I do things because I can, because I'm capable, not to show you that I'm stronger than you or better than you. That's the last thing on my mind. I'm looking at the task at hand. I'm looking at the mission objective, and I'm finding the most efficient way, excuse me, to successfully complete that task at a level much higher than expected. That's how I function. People won't give you permission to be who you are. They won't give you permission to shift into your proper place. Do it anyways. Do it anyways. Shift. Allow. Do what needs to be done. Allow yourself to shift and grow and become an even greater expression of who you already are. See, all of these things that you think you're needing to grow into, you're needing to become, is already who you are deep inside yourself. The process that you're in is not a process of becoming. It's a process of shedding the layers, the programs, the expectations of others, their demands as to who you are supposed to be. You're not simply what other people tell you to be. You are who you are. And it's time for people to see who that is and leave them to have the freedom to decide whether or not they will accept it. And if they don't accept it, perfect. There's more space for people, new people to come in who have the capacity to see you and accept you. Not just accept you, but celebrate who you are. Let them make space. Because really, honestly, the kind of person that I am, once I let you in, it's hard for me to kick you out. It is. I'm just, I'm a Piscean. Hello. It's hard for me to kick you out. It's hard to get in. I'll be honest with that. It's hard to get in. It's hard for someone to enter into my innermost spaces of existence. Once you're in, there's not much you're going to do that's going to make me push you out. I mean, you really have to go out of your way to get pushed out. And so it's a thing of when someone removes themselves from my life, thank God, because I mean, God, I didn't want to have to kick you out. That would break my heart. That would break my heart. The last time, and it's been a couple years, the last time someone from my innermost circle exited, I think they thought that it would somehow punish me if they exited and they were nasty about it as they were exiting. I told my husband, like, thank God, because I would have never been able to like boot them. I would have just stayed quiet and let them be a shitty friend. I would have just stayed quiet. I would have just kept taking it like I had been for, I think, like 2 years already at that point. Might even be 3 years. Mhm. Yeah. So when that individual exited, I was like, "Oh, thank God. Whew, I wouldn't be able to do that." Right? I straight up told my husband that, and he was like, "You're right. Yeah, you're right." Because it was at a point where I was making excuses for them. My husband was noticing, and without even saying anything to them, I was making excuses for them to my husband. Like, "No, no, 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 they're going through something right now." He's like, "What are you why are you doing all of this for them?" "No, no, they're going through something right now. Don't bother them. Don't bother them." I don't know why the fuck I'm like that. I'm trying not to be. But with the friends, the very, very few friends, I don't have very many friends. With the very, very few friends that I have, it's like, first, they would never put me in a position where I would feel like I would have to do that. And secondly, they're worth doing that for. They're worth going out of my way to love them in however way they need to be loved in that moment. I would. I would. See, the loss of someone who was never really worth being in my presence, it doesn't change me into a bitter person. It just makes me more deeply appreciate those who have always been real. Everything's being shifted in your favor. There's nothing you have to transform about yourself. There's nothing you have to change about yourself. You've already been properly calibrated by life and by soul. You don't need to lie to yourself and build yourself up. You just need to let go of the unnecessary weight, that emotional baggage that you've been carrying around because someone told you you had to carry it. Leave that shit on the side of the road. Ain't no one going to say nothing to you about it. Yep. And if they do, you can tell them to go pick it up and carry it them damn selves. Those silly gooses. Those silly gooses. Rejuvenation sigil. You have all the energy that you need. You have everything you need inside you already. You're like a cactus. I know I am. Prickly little mofo. I'm prickly. You're like a cactus. It's okay. You know, cactus only negatively impacts someone with their prickly ways if they are being mishandled. So let that just percolate. Okay. If you're prickly, that's fine. They just need to not handle you when you're prickly. But going beyond the prickles, um, a cactus can exist in a very hostile, inhospitable environment because it holds everything it needs deep inside itself. It conserves. You gotta stop wasting all your energy on the green grass people. Okay, I don't know about other countries, but in the United States of America, it's like the American dream to have a specific type of home with green grass in the front. And it doesn't even matter if you live in the high desert, full on desert. They don't care. They're like, waste all your money watering grass that is not native to the environment that you're in. And the greener the grass, the more like luxury it is. You know, it's luxury because you're wasting your fucking money watering that shit. Grass will die if left to its own devices. It's put in areas that it doesn't belong and it's babied. It has to be babied, right? There's nothing wrong with being babied here and there, especially if you're going through something difficult. We all need love at some point, right? We all need to be held tenderly when we're going through difficult things. But I mean, if you think you have a right to be babied every single aspect, every single point of your life, I mean, stay in the nursery. The world is going to hurt you. Micah goes, you can stay in the nursery too. Ain't nobody talking to you right now. You silly goose. There's this video I came across, and the girl was like, if you hear me referring to someone as a silly goose, you need to give me a pat on the back because I'm trying to teach myself not to call people stupid motherfuckers. I was like, oh shit. We're duetting this later. Okay. Michael's being a silly goose. Okay. You are not allowed to betray yourself by giving away your potentiality, by wasting your energy, by irresponsibly allocating your resources to support people that don't need support. Emotional support, intellectual support, financial support, whatever it is. You know what I learned during my time on Facebook? I learned quite a few different lessons. One of the most profound lessons that I learned um, is fascinating. I had a bleeding heart for everyone back then, like an absolute bleeding heart for everybody. you give me, um, you give me a sob story, and I'll give you whatever you want because I was having internal issues with myself. And I figured if I was a savior to other people, then if I did that for enough people, I'd be able to convince myself that I'm not a horrible piece of shit person. Turns out I didn't need to do that, and I'm also still not a horrible piece of shit person. But back then, I was wasting so much of myself and my resources, giving and giving and giving to bottomless pit type people. What I mean by this is that there are people that exist who give a good story. Now, there are people who share what's happening to them, and it's a very um, emotional thing, and you're moved to help because they need help. But there are also many who, I don't know why, they keep going through the same kind of fucked up shit. So there were several folks. I'm sure there were more than several, but several stick out in my mind. There were several folks who were in a very hard space. They needed a couple $100 to kind of tide them over and give them an opportunity to start fresh again. And then the next week, they still also needed a couple $100. And then maybe 2 weeks after that, they were still in the same fucking situation. And it's at some point you need to be like, oh, oh, okay. You're not having a hardship. This is your lifestyle. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I got it. Got it. Sorry. Sorry. That was so presumptuous of me. I thought you were having a hardship. I didn't realize it was just a fucking lifestyle. Mm. Mhm. Yeah. Yep. There was one gal in particular who I'm not sure why, but I was very fond of her. I would chat with her often. I would send clients her way. I would also purchase services from her that I could fucking do my damn self for myself. But it was a way for me to consistently give her money without her feeling like a charity case. And I mean, this went on for some time, quite some time, like a year, 2 years, or I don't remember. It went on for quite some time. And then one day, I realized that people who were trying to cyberbully me um, were now reaching out to her and kind of trying to like, hey, you got to pick our side or Emmy, right? And I was like, okay, well, those people, one in particular, is giving you money, um, to kind of try and butter you up and get you on their side. So, for whatever reason, my worry about you and your financial situation and being able to eat. She's also living in I think it was a parking lot as well. I'm not sure. Um, oh, mind you, I was homeless at the time. Cause fuck yeah. Yeah. No, I was homeless too. So I felt kind of bad for her, right? And then I realized, the ops were also purchasing sessions from her. So I was like, okay, so you have a steady source of income. That person is a trust fund baby. So, they can afford to toss you money all the time. I'm just gonna back up. And I reached out to them because I didn't want to just disappear. I reached out to them and said, that thing you told me a while back about these people, you were right. And I'm very sorry I put you in the situation where now they're trying to put you in the middle of something that you don't need to be a part of, um, all on account of me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to block you. I don't have anything against you, but I'm going to block you so that they don't create havoc in your life because of me. And I wish I had listened to you. And thank you. And then I blocked her. And when she saw that I blocked her, despite me saying, like, I don't have anything against you, I'm kind of just doing this just to take you out of the equation because these crazy bitches, these crazy, silly gooses are fucking crazy. I don't want you to have to deal with that. Ooh, immediately. Lots of people were sending me screenshots because immediately after they were blocked, they posted um, something publicly, just absolutely talking mad shit about me and that I'm a fucking bitch. I'm fucking money hungry. I'm fucking this. I'm fucking that. And I was like, oh, wow. Wow. I was all that in your eyes. I was all that. And you continued to receive money from me on a regular basis for nothing. And I'm all that. It helped me to learn real quick. The only reason I helped her was because I saw her as an externalized projection of my internal circumstance. I was doing everything for her that I should have done for myself. I'm grateful for that lesson. Not grateful for her. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have my eyes opened so wide to the ways in which I was betraying myself consistently over and over and over, betraying myself over and over and over and over and over. I wasn't helping someone. Is it helping if now they're basically your employee and you're paying them to do jack shit? Because that's what it was. They're basically on a consistent payroll. For what? They weren't doing anything for me. So why was I doing that? Because I was far too comfortable betraying myself and justify my betrayal of self by using the excuse of I'm helping people. Are you helping someone? Or are you simply using someone's circumstance, knowing they have no problem taking advantage of you to punish yourself? I realized that's what I was doing. I was punishing myself because the moment I began my ME evolving business, it was very successful right from the start. That soul based business mentorship, I did that for myself. And it was fucking successful. Still is. Very successful. and I would give it all away. As soon as it was coming in, I was giving it away to help people. I wasn't fucking helping people. I was paying people to give me access to their suffering so I could suffer with them. I want to punish myself. For what? For knowing that I'm destined to succeed in anything and everything that I do. That's my destined path. The same thing with my mother, same thing with my brother. Everything that we do, we succeed in tremendously. Minimal effort, we succeed in it. That's what we were gifted from my mother's ancestry. Everything we do. That's why we don't hold on to anything. We give so much away. My brother's the same way. He's the exact same way. It's kind of annoying seeing him do what I do. Because it's like, motherfucker, stop giving shit away. Like, you gotta stabilize. Honey, if you're on the live stream, I just did. I don't know why you're emphasizing. But hella exclamation points. And I'm gonna use Joy's sticker. My kids made a sticker of Joy. Shit. That's her sticker. Holy shit. Uh-huh. Okay. If you're watching this, I just did. And then hold on. Her other sticker. This girl. Shit. Listen. Okay. We have all been taking our grief out on her and loving the shit out of her. To where she's like, fuck y'all. Leave me alone. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So stop wasting your resources, your energy. Conserve it for what you need to do for yourself. It's time. There's nothing selfish about it. There is nothing selfish about acknowledging that you have the capacity to, excuse me, fulfill all of your needs. And people will have you convinced that, honey, I texted you back. Oh my God. Hold on. Did I not complete what I was supposed to do? Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I'm going to very aggressively text you. Okay. You're being a silly goose right now. Stop being a silly goose. Okay. No, you're not a silly goose. Now I feel bad for saying that. You're being redirected, and that redirection is instruction to stop hiding things away from yourself. Okay? You're being redirected to fully step into the full glory of the amazingness that you are. For quite a few of you, not all of us, but for quite a few of you, part of what's destined to happen very, very soon is a massive windfall. And it's not something that you're just going to be given. It's a type of windfall that first must be earned. You're going to do something, create something, some type of opportunity is going to be presented to you, and it's going to allow for tremendous amounts of financial stability to enter into your life. If you're going to block this, I'm going to be so fucking mad at you. I'm talking to everybody right now. And no, I don't want you to receive this tremendous financial windfall so you can donate it to anyone, not even to me. Keep that shit for yourself. Keep it for yourself. Invest more into whatever you're doing. Look for other things you can invest into that will create additional streams of income for yourself. Hey, just because these crazy ass motherfuckers are trying to tank everybody's bank account does not mean you have to participate in that shit. I'm being absolutely serious right now. Let this happen for you. Let it happen for you. Don't just let it happen for you, make it happen for you. Make it happen. You can feel it. Okay, let's do this. If you want to feel, if you're one of the people who are intended to experience this massive, massive windfall, put hashtag massive. Hashtag massive. I feel energy. I feel lots of energy right now. Hashtag massive. Well, let me just let me play a little music for myself. Yep, hashtag massive if you want to see if it applies to you. Let me get some music. All right. What song do I like? Let's do this. Breathe very deep, very slow. So, for those of you who felt energy in the chest, high chest, going up to the throat, up the sides of the face, pulsating at the top of the crown. Did any of you feel that? And I didn't tell you guys what you would expect to feel because I didn't want to have some type of placebo effect and have you feel it. Mm. Mhm. Not everyone was going to feel it. Okay. For those of you that did feel it, you're about to step into a massive windfall of money. A massive windfall of money. Don't block it. I don't know when it's going to happen. Don't block it. Let it arrive. Do everything in your power to make it possible to come home to you. Let it arrive. See, the people who experience this and are going to be allowing the money to come in, you are the ones who will be using that money to create opportunities to more powerfully fulfill whatever purpose you're in this life to fulfill. It's going to benefit a lot of people. So, if you're struggling to accept that, holy shit, you're one of the folks that's about to be very comfortable because there's a shift in money that's happening right now. There is a shift in money that's happening right now. Did you guys hear that fart? It wasn't me. If you heard a fart, there's someone standing outside my office door that just farted. It was not me. Good God. Good God. Of all the places in the house to fart. Anyways, there are those of us who are being positioned very powerfully. Everything within us, our character, who we are, the way we act, it's calibrated. Listen, I know it's hard for you to allow yourself to receive. And if it's hard for you to allow yourself to receive, I need you to keep what I'm about to say in the back of your head at all times. You're being allowed to receive because you're going to use that to give to other people, not just to give them money, but to amplify and expand the money you have in order to better be able to assist those who are waiting for your assistance. They are waiting for you. This is not about you receiving and, oh, but other people need it more. Stop. They need you to receive it because you are going to do with it what they cannot, and it will benefit them. Like, please actually see the person that you are. See the goodness that you are. And then let yourself receive. You're not just going to be given this. You have to work for it. You have to earn it. You have to find the courage to put yourself out there so you can receive what you are working to get. And if you can do that, my God. I'm processing the last month of my life. Because of my inability to process for the last month of my life, it has had a major impact on everything that I'm doing. That's okay. No, I don't need donations. That's okay. I have to live through the consequence of my decision to allow myself to be overwhelmed. It's okay. I needed to process. You know what else is okay? My awareness that now that I'm entering into the tail end of what I'm processing, and I will grieve for quite a bit longer, but it's the processing that's blocking me from moving forward. As I come to the tail end of this process, I'm now being properly positioned to work my fucking ass off to not just make up for the losses over the last year. Okay. Let that sink in for the last year, but to expand it to the degree where I can make some business moves that will finally allow for the sanctuary to finally be built. And as someone who struggles to receive, you know what consistently plays in my head? They've waited long enough. They've waited patiently. They have waited patiently long enough for you to go through the process that you are in so that you can earn and receive what is rightfully earned by you. Because creation knows I have no interest in keeping all of that to myself. That when I have, I give so much. That's just the person that I am. It's how I am. I'm a lover, I'm a giver, I'm a nurturer. That's what I do. It's an intrinsic part of me. So when I start to get fearful, when I start to re-enter into those spaces of like, but so many other people need. No, no. They have waited long enough. I am aware I can do things with minimal amount of flow that causes massive amplification. I can do this in every aspect of my life. I choose not to. Why? Because I had a fear that it would change me and make me greedy. I'm 45 fucking years old. I've never in my life been greedy. I've never in my life been a greedy person. I'm not going to fucking become a greedy person at this point. That's not within my character. I need to just accept that at this point. You need to accept who you are. You need to stop convincing yourself you're a bad person. And that's why you shouldn't allow yourself to receive. No, no, you're not. Bad people don't stress about being a bad person. They don't care. The fact that you're worried about being a bad person, the fact that you're worried that money will change you, it's not going to change you. It's not going to change you. It's just going to make it easier for you to be who you are. You see these people that get changed the moment they get a little bit of money? That's because that's who they really were to begin with. They were hiding it. They were hiding it. They were simply hiding it. And the moment they got a little bit of something, they started feeling real comfortable being who they are, who they've always been. There is no protection that you need right now. Do not convince yourself that you can't do it because you're not protected, because this, because that. Yeah, you can. You can do it. You can make it happen. So make it happen. Make it happen. Whatever environment you are in. Okay, so you're in a muddy environment. It's muddy, so but I have to purify it first. I have to make sure the water is clear and clean and okay, but a lotus doesn't thrive in clear water. You want to put some bleach in that water, make sure all the bacteria is dead. The lotus will die. So be in that muddy, murky water and allow your lotus to more than just survive. Give it the elements it needs to thrive. Allow it to happen. Allow it. Everything just shifted heavily in your favor. For those of you who felt the things that you felt, the sensations that I described, well, you're about to have some money come in. Does that mean you are um, now needing to spend a shit ton of money because Emmy said the money will come back? I didn't say the money will come back. I said you need to earn that and stop blocking it from arriving. Don't be squandering your money. Don't squander it. Use it responsibly for the things that are necessary expenditures. And know whatever you're investing in, especially for those that felt the sensations, um, it's going to lead to something. Don't spend money you haven't yet earned. Don't spend money that you've earned but haven't yet been paid. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try and convince yourself that the message applies to you when you know damn well you didn't feel nothing. Okay. You have to take responsibility for what you do with the messages that you receive because not everything applies to everyone. And it's okay if you're one of the ones who didn't feel anything. If you know in your heart that that message doesn't apply to you, that's still okay. That doesn't mean you're going to suffer. Maybe it means that in this lifetime, your primary focus really is just you and creating a place of peace within your life, within yourself, for you. Not everyone has to be a savior. Not everyone has to exist as a person who will save the world from itself. I mean, it's okay to also just be, a regular old person living your life, living in some space of peace, having a simple life. I think that's a very beautiful thing, to be honest. I think that's a very, very beautiful thing. All right, final card. Okay, hold on. I feel like I need to. If you would like to schedule a soul-based business mentorship with me, that's where I'm not a business advisor, but I could definitely communicate to you what your soul is instructing you to do in order to establish your independence from this financial matrix that pretty much everyone is in. If you want to go check it out, go click on that link or the QR code on the screen, and that will take you exactly where you need to go. If you are not yet part of our congregation and would like to be part of today's chat at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on this QR code or the link in the comment. And then also, I have a morphogenetic fundamental workshop coming up in the next couple of weeks. If you'd like to learn how to harness your energy and protect your space, click on that link. And I believe at this point, we don't have too many seats left because it's a very full workshop at this point. So if you missed the last workshop and you want to be part of this one, make sure you do that soon. And when we're out of seats, the listing will be taken down. You won't be able to purchase. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's get started with our final card. Card number 37, Sacred Soul Sister. Card number 37. Oops. Here goes. Card number 37, Sacred Soul Sister. When you are conscious, a cloud of sadness surrounds you. When you are beyond consciousness, the moon rests in your arms. When you are conscious, the beloved moves out of your reach. When you are beyond consciousness, the ecstasy of love moves your way. When you are conscious, you are depressed like fall. When you are beyond consciousness, the winter cold feels like spring. All your wavering is due to your longing to be stable. Look for instability until you become stable. I love you. I am your other self. I am with you always, your partner on this soul journey. I am the you that you do not see. I am the you that speaks through intuition and instinct. I whisper and sing and shout my crazed truth telling to you through your dreams, through your body. I am the you that is wise, that trusts in life, that knows. I am the you that sees reality rather than appearance. I am the you that knows how to be happy and free. There is a valid point of view that we travel this path of our life journey alone. Our deepest descents into the psyche happen alone. We meet death alone and come into the world alone. And yet there is a vaster perspective that we are never alone, that it would be impossible to really be alone. We are connected to all of life, and there is no such thing as being alone in reality, only in limited and temporary perception. As if such community were not enough, there is a partner, an ally who journeys with you from birth to death and beyond. Again and again, you have a sacred sister, a sister of your soul. She weaves the stories of truth through dreams and insights that come upon you as if from nowhere. Perhaps they drop into your mind or seem to erupt from within you. But that is her talking to you, demanding or reassuring, depending on what the occasion best calls for at that moment. Her truths may seem overly dramatic, so you may discount them as workings of an overactive imagination. Or perhaps her truth tales are so subtle you miss them as meaningless, a mere fleeting fancy. The wise ones know, however, that the truths of the sacred soul sister are powerful, relevant, and worthy of time and attention. They know her oftentimes strange and startling offerings hold the keys to unlock entire worlds, to open up new realities, and to transform the nature of our existence from the deepest and most esoteric spiritual levels to the most palpable, practical daily realities of our living bodies in the physical world. Excuse me. Your sacred soul sister is your partner in consciousness. Make no mistake, she is you. She's just a part of you so great, you cannot always see her from your conscious mind. It is sort of like the eye of the dog trying to see its whole self, which is a bit tricky, for as it moves to see its rear, so the rear is moved along too. So rather than through direct perception, the sacred soul sister is met through reflection. She can be received in those moments of rest where great ideas are born. She is a genius, you see, vastly creative and inspired. Her worlds are those we access in sleep and meditation, or absorbing engagement in activity where the mind can relax and drop into realities far more vast than those of daily life and be replenished. To tap into her wisdom, to distill a teaching from the fragmented memory of a dream or a subtle feeling experience in meditation requires that you walk with her gait and not the fast paced, forward moving canter of your conscious and intellectual mind. Her gait is meandering and apparently unstudied, yet she is in deep concentration to feel for truth of movement, to allow for what is emerging to express itself through her. And she is listening rather than demanding to know, to force, to speak, and to direct. To receive her genius and benefit most fully from it requires a willingness to surrender logic and to open up to inspiration, to become empty, to let the mind soften and become receptive, open, and permeable. She delivers questions that lead to answers, but not according to demands issued by an insecure and fearful mind. She offers what is genuinely needed and answers the deepest questions of the heart. She is trustworthy, this sister. She cannot betray truth, therefore, she can be relied upon as a faithful way shower for the heart. So to commune with her, wise as that impulse is, requires that you learn the ways of her world and the strange symbolic language she speaks. She will never tell you what you already know. Why be so inefficient? No, she prefers to educate, elucidate, intrigue, and beguile as you are drawn into far more beautiful, powerful, and helpful truths. So, in her world and in her language, you must suspend your need to immediately understand. Let yourself absorb the imagery, the feelings, and the possibilities, to dwell, ponder, and be permeated by the wisdom. The appearance of a horse may signify your own spiritual being, and the appearance of you may signify a false sense of identity and not the real you at all. You may see desert landscapes and moonlit nights in your dreams. When so much inner growth is happening, you will soon bloom like the springtime. You may dream of charging up hills with great energy, when in your physical world you can barely muster enough strength to get out of bed in the morning. What does this mean? This apparent contrary, world upside down, nothing as it seems type of symbolism. The meaning is the communication, and the communication is received in repose, in reflection, in quietness, and in rest. And you must trust. Trust her and trust yourself. When something needs to be known, so it shall be. This is necessary, so much less than what we expect. Your lack of knowing is not ignorance. Your unknowingness is your bowing to life with trust. And oftentimes, your unknowingness is your protection from your own unrecognized desire to sabotage your process. She has come to you through this oracle to remind you that everything is all right and that she has your back, no matter what appearances may seem to be in your more limited dog's eye consciousness in the light of day. She is guiding you with her wider knowledge through circumstances and situations that are ultimately going to free you into a greater love than you have ever known. No matter whether you feel like a rat in a maze or a bewildered drunk stumbling through a labyrinth back alleyway, trying to find your way home again. No matter how out of control life may seem, she's letting you know all is proceeding just as it should, and that her will shall manifest. Her will is your wholeness, your completion. Her will must manifest and shall, because her will is nature. It is growth. It is God. She is God in you now. Remember that, and you'll realize, if you don't mind the ending being foretold before the last chapter, that everything's going to be okay. This oracle comes with particular guidance. You know something deep in your bones without knowing how or why or without particular reason. You just know. It doesn't make sense, but you know. It may be joy that you know. It may be that you know to avoid a certain situation. It may be that something is going to work out beautifully despite appearances to the contrary. At a particular moment, it may be that you are meant to take a certain path. You just know. This oracle comes as confirmation that your knowing, mysterious as it is your sacred soul sister talking through you. Trust it and act, or not, accordingly. I would say soul has been very, very clear in what it wants you to do. It wants you to trust. It wants you to initiate the process that will allow for you to fall deeper in love with yourself and allow an even deeper capacity to receive. I think we've already established that for some of you, you're about to receive something massive, something very, very massive. It's up to you if you'll allow it or not. If you won't allow it, just know no one else is going to receive it. Whatever backwards idea you've told yourself about how someone else needs it more than you. No, whatever you refuse to receive will not be given to anyone else. It will be simply held in limbo, waiting until you're done sabotaging your own process. You might as well receive, because once you receive, you can give directly to whoever it is you feel needs it more than you. Receive. Allow yourself to be the conduit you're designed to be. Allow yourself to function in the way divinity designed you to function, with access to all the resources that divinity has already set aside for you. It's up to you, though. It's up to you. If you need time to come to terms with the reality of what I'm saying and how it applies to you, because you know exactly how it applies to you. That's why for some of you, it makes you uncomfortable hearing all of this. Um, Take time. But just know you're going to complicate your situation. The last time I decided to take time to come to terms with what I was being instructed to do by soul, I was given the time. Absolutely. I was given the time. I was given from November all the way through till May. I believe it was May. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. I was given close to 6 months. And then immediately after, I was stranded in a parking lot for quite a few months and made into a vagrant. Yeah, for quite a few years. You see, just because soul will give you the time to come to terms with something does not mean once that time is up, you're going to be allowed to continue to drag your feet. You can either agree to it now, and it's an agreement between you and your soul, not with anyone else, not with me, not with anyone else, and have things unfold in a much more prolonged, uh, less jarring manner. Or you can use all that time that soul has allotted for you to kind of get your feet wet and acclimate. You can use that time to resist and convince yourself that you're not going to do something, only to have all that time used up, and then you're going to do it anyways. Everything's already being shifted in your favor. You might as well just take the easy way and flow with it now rather than waiting. I'm not talking about forcing, I'm talking about flowing. I'm talking about not sticking your feet out of the car door to slow things down. I'm talking about sitting in your seat, taking some notes if need be, and allowing for the rate of speed to be adjusted to the perfect level for your comfort and for the sake of efficiency. You will not win a fight against your soul. Some of y'all might win a fight against me. Depends. It depends. But I promise you, you will not win a fight against your soul. There is no doubt in my mind that at the end of this life, you will have lived every circumstance your soul has decided to have you experience, and you will become exactly what you were destined to be. Might as well have some fun and be comfortable while you do it. Let it happen. Let it happen. There's no one more deserving of what's about to be given than you. Besides, like I said before, just because you refuse to receive it doesn't mean soul is going to give it to someone else. It's not going to. I promise you. It's not going to. It's going to sit on it until you stop being rebellious and receive it. Years ago, I was doing some projects with a couple folks, and I absolutely was using their presence as a way to justify my willingness to allow for abundance to come in, because I was not going to allow it if I was doing it alone. And then I figured, oh, they can have it. They can have the portion that I'm giving them. And then, of course, as things go the way they go in my life, those silly gooses suddenly became very greedy. And it didn't take long for them to start thinking that, okay, we have all this. If we just get rid of her, we can have everything, which I was fine with. Have everything. It's the reason I left Facebook. Have everything. Have the whole fucking platform. Have everything. I don't care. I just want to do the work that soul tells me to do and then spend time with my family. I don't care. Be the celebrity. Be rich. Have it all. I don't give a fuck. Stop dragging me into your fucking drama, your issues with yourself. And I thought that was going to be enough. Because I abruptly left the platform. I didn't fight back. I left the platform. Just have it fucking all. Have it all. I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't explain shit. I just disappeared. And you know what happened? These silly goose bitches. I'm sure to this day they still hate me and blame me for their lack of abundance. Why? Because the moment I left, they didn't get shit anymore. Is it because I was blocking them? No. I've always been a person, as long as I have enough for what my family needs, I'm good. I'm legit hella good. It's no worries for me. I'm perfectly fine living a very simple life. But you know what happened? I can laugh about it now. They fucking accused me of sabotaging all of their work stuff. Then nothing happened for them. Nothing happened for them. As a matter of fact, last I heard, because someone felt the need to fucking put that in my face, like I'm good off that shit. I don't need to know anything that's happening with them. They repeated the same cycle, except with different people. So the reality of who they are is now being known by others who are willing to speak out. I don't fucking care. But no, they didn't get any more of my abundance that I was sharing at all. At all. How do I know this? Oh, because they were talking shit about me to a whole bunch of people saying that I was blocking their abundance. Oh, really? I left the whole fucking platform for you. So your greedy fucking ass can have everything. Oh, that's right. I forgot. What's for me will always be for me. No one can ever take that away. I cannot even give it away. At best, I can share. I can give you the lion's share of what is rightfully for me if I want. I'm allowed to. I can give it all away if I want. I'm allowed to. As long as I allow myself to be the first one to receive it, I can do with it whatever the hell I want. But I promise you, no one will receive what has been allotted to me by God. Just like no one can take or receive whatever has been allotted to you by God. Stop playing games with yourself. Let yourself finally receive what is rightfully for you. Work for it, earn it. It will not just be given to you. The process you go through is not an earning of the abundance, it is an earning, being made worthy by way of developing the maturity through the process. The process simply exists to ensure you continue to mature to the degree that you will do with what you are given in the way you are instructed to do by your soul. Whether it's to grow it more or to give it all away, that's between you and your soul. That is between you and your soul. Don't betray yourself this time, though. If you think betraying yourself will help the blind see the goodness that lives inside you, think about what I just said. They're fucking blind. They cannot see. It is for you to help them to feel rather than to see. And sometimes the most powerful way for someone to feel the gravity of your goodness, your grace, and your generosity is not by being excessively generous, but by simply removing yourself. I promise you, I'm fully aware that those people who I gave so generously to all those years ago and who were not grateful for anything that I did not need their gratitude. I gave because I was in my own process and because that is who I am. I'm a giver. I promise you. Till now, they feel the gravity of my absence and my generosity. Yeah, I don't need to retaliate. Why? Because the absolute nature of my absence is a lifelong punishment already. It's very hard to find another person like me. We do exist, but we're very rare. And when you begin to understand your worth, you begin to realize the most profound punishment someone can receive from you is by you simply walking away and continuing to exist just as you are, being the person that you are, just not with them, not for them, not around them. Again, not to punish, but because your peace requires their absence. Let them deal with the fallout of that absence on their own terms, in private. You don't need to be involved in that. Let them figure it out for themselves. And know, after they show you who they are, don't let them back in. You don't need to learn that lesson in a deeper way. Accept it for what it is. Doesn't mean you stay angry. It doesn't mean you become hateful. It means you simply accept that that is who they are, that is how they are, and it is toxic to you. So may they have a lovely life in your absence. And no, do not check in. Do not check to see if they're doing no. No, no. No, no. Give them the privacy they need. You keep living your life and allow everything to continue to shift heavily in your favor. I hope that today's chat um, helps you to come to terms with how loved you are and how provided you are. Soul wants to provide for you, so let it. Allow yourself to receive. And who knows, for quite a few of you who didn't feel anything or didn't feel what I described, hate to say this, but there's a potentiality you blocked yourself from feeling anything because you know already you're one of the ones who's supposed to receive, and you can't seem to give yourself permission to receive even a simple confirmation of what you already know. It's okay. Go through whatever you need to go through so that you can open yourself to receiving. It'll be okay. You will be okay. And at the end of it all, you will have everything that was meant to be in your hands, anyways. Soul is amazing like that. It always will find a way. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. And if you want to continue the conversation, join our church. The Soul Sanctuary is the social aspect of our church. Due to crazy ass silly gooses, we can't meet for church in person. So we go ahead and we meet virtually for now. If you'd like to be a part of that, click on the QR code or the link in the comments, and that takes you to a page where you can initiate a recurring contribution. Recurring contributions categorically make you a part of our congregation, our church. And your contribution, if you're in the United States, is a tax deduction. Donations to official churches are tax deductions. We're also a nonprofit, so you're double covered. And with that, I will see our congregation at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. I can't wait to see you guys. I cannot wait to see you. It's been quite a long time since we've gotten a chance to chat, because, of course, I had my own little meltdown. It wasn't so little, but we'll call it little, and everything's going to be fine. I'll see you guys in a little bit, about an hour or no, 2 hours. I don't know what time zone I'm in. 3 hours? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. But I'll see you. All right, guys. Have a beautiful rest.